What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Matt.
I'm Shawnee.
And today we're going to have a review slash discussion slash hangout about Tress of the Emerald Sea by Brandon Sanderson.
Brandon Sando.
So if you're not familiar, Brandon Sanderson is an author who during lockdown wrote, was it 4 or 5?
4.
4 secret projects. Like he just wrote 4 books because he was bored
Yeah.
in lockdown. And this year he's releasing them once a quarter. So Tress was the first of those 4. Mm-hmm. It came out January 1st. The next one's coming out April 1st. So we finished it just in time. Let's be real. Shawnee finished it a while ago. I just now finished it just in time to have this review ready to go and in anticipation for the next one. So this video, we're going to have both a spoiler-free section and a spoiler-filled section. So if you have not read Tress, and you are somewhat interested, we'll have timestamps down in the description and you'll be able to jump around wherever you want or need to.
We'll have the first half of this video as the spoiler-free portion, and then later we will give a very fair warning before we jump into actual things that have happened in the book for spoilers. So you don't have to be too wary, but just pay attention.
And it just so happens that as soon as we start recording is when our dogs decide they want to play.
Of course.
They don't play throughout the entire day until we start recording.
But we tricked them and now they are locked out of the room.
So it's just us. Welcome. Yeah, what was your reading experience like?
The big breath was unnecessary. I needed oxygen, I guess. It was fun. I felt like a very fun, light, fast-paced read for me. I felt like it was a lighthearted, fun experience. I enjoyed getting to know the characters. It was like, for me, watching a pilot of a show, and you're really excited like after watching the first episode, and then sometimes like the second episode, you're like, wait, what's happening here? What's the premise of everything that's going on here? And I feel like that's after like the first 50 pages, and then it was like kind of like, I really have no idea where any of this is gonna go. And then really jumping into that and being like fully invested like after that like first 100 pages or so. I read it on the Kindle, so I don't really know like the depth of how far I was into the book with those emotions. But I would say overall emotions was fun, lighthearted, enjoyable, just like super enjoyable. I would say. I feel like that's very bland, but that's all I can think of is that I had fun reading it and I enjoyed reading it. It was a good time. Made me happy. It was
a really fun time. I thoroughly enjoyed the book. Throughout, I laughed out loud. It's a very cute, fun, quirky, cozy-ish feel.
Yeah.
I will say that my experience, I thought it was kind of slow at the beginning, but once the action started to pick up, then it became like a page turner and I couldn't get enough of it.
You're way more invested.
For me personally, I'm more of a plot-driven reader. I like characters, but if you give me a book that is like basically all character development and no plot, I'm not going to enjoy it. I much more prefer a good plot that moves at the sacrifice of character development. So, if that sounds weird. It sounds weird to say that I don't care about the characters in the book. No. But that's not entirely true. I just prefer plot.
It makes sense because it's like you don't want somebody to ask you to spend time to invest into these characters without having a reason for it really yet.
Right.
Yeah.
But although I thought it was slow at the beginning, I will say the narrator, and as fun as the narrator is in Tress of the Emerald Sea, throughout, front to back, as fun as he is, it really helped the kind of slower plot like ramp up to the conflict.
Yeah. The witty nature of the narrator is what I would say 90% of the laughs, probably 100% of the laughs from Matt came from. Yeah. The narration.
He's just a fun dude is the best way to describe him. And also, we both find it, we had discussed this on our own just because we're married and we talk sometimes.
Everyone's well.
And we both like find it pretty unique to read a story where the narrator is one of the main characters in the story, but not the protagonist.
Yeah, super unique. I don't think I know I haven't read a book like that, and I don't think I've heard of a book like that. And I think that that's super cool and so creative of Brandon Sanderson to do that.
I kind of think we got ahead of ourselves. If you don't know what the story is about, it's about a girl named Tress who lives on this island that she calls the Rock. And this boy that she loves somehow gets kidnapped. And so this is the story of her going to rescue him. And it's the adventure that you go along with her on the adventure. She meets a lot of people. So you've got the found family trope, which I love. You've got it's Tress of the Emerald Sea, so obviously they're on a ship, they're out on the sea. It's kind of a nautical type vibe.
So part of the story of like Brandon Sanderson's inspiration towards writing this was during lockdown or before lockdown or somewhere around that time. His wife was watching The Princess Bride, the family was watching it or whatever, and she's like, how come the woman just has to sit there and wait to be rescued and she doesn't get to partake in any of the adventure, you know? And so that's kind of the inspiration behind this is like, what if the woman was the one on the adventure and experiencing all of these unique things and trials? So maybe we'll work that in and clip it towards the beginning of the video. Okay, so I'm gonna ask Matt who his favorite character of the book was, which means we're gonna go ahead and jump into the spoiler portion of the video because there may be characters that we meet later in the book or characters that developed in a specific way that might have been his favorite character or mine. We'll just see. So we're going to go ahead and start spoilers.
There are some reveals specifically with characters that could be considered spoilers. So right now is your official warning. Well, before we wrap up the spoiler free, should you read this book?
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. It's so much fun. I'm probably going to reread it. If not by the end of the year, definitely next year.
Oh, really?
I'll probably reread it. I really enjoyed this book.
I didn't know you wanted to read it so soon.
I really enjoyed it. Although I only gave it 4 stars.
I gave it 5.
And I gave it 4 stars because I didn't care for the ending and the major conflict, the culmination of it, and the resolution kind of wasn't enough for me. I was kind of like, I don't know how to describe that other than getting into spoilers. So, should you read this? Absolutely. And if you are going to skip the spoiler section, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one. So now, getting into spoilers.
Matt, who was your favorite character of Tress of the Emerald Sea?
My favorite character, hands down, has to be Hoyd. He is the narrator who... He tells you that he's in the story, but he doesn't tell you who he is.
Yeah.
And then once you find out who he is, one thing that kind of was iffy for me also, or that it took some getting used to, was the story starts out in third person. So it's all the, like, telling you a story from outside or being separated from it, talking about Tress did this, Tress did that, they did that, whatever. And then all of a sudden it starts throwing in I and we and me. Because the narrator is a character in the story, which is what we were saying, that's a pretty unique factor in a book that neither of us have really read before.
Yeah.
But Hoyd himself is, well, also, spoiler for the Cosmeres, he is present in pretty much every Cosmere book in some form or fashion. And he's just so witty and fun and cracking jokes all the time and such a silly character. Hoyd was just so much fun.
He's a comedic relief for a tense situation for Tress.
Yeah.
But yeah, the fact that he's telling someone else's story, but he's present there, I don't know, that's a lot of fun.
And yeah, Hoyd is the reason that I was laughing out loud with some of this stuff that he was saying in the narration.
Matt and I had
he's such a clever character.
Matt and I had also talked about, from the switch of the POV, that for me it was seamless. It just made sense to me whenever they ran into the narrator and then he started taking over. I don't know, just the way that it was done was just so natural, and it wasn't abrupt for me. I didn't have to wait and pause and be like, wait, who's telling the story? It was just like, oh, we met the narrator in the story. That's so fun. I don't know, that's kind of cool.
Who was your favorite character?
Tress. I mean, the main character being my favorite character is just kind of like, oh, obvious. But she was so fun. I did like the idea of the woman taking on the adventure. And maybe that's just me and my woman point of view of things, but just the fact that she got to be the one that was doing the daring and brave things and having a creative mind and being adventurous and the one that's going on the rescue mission. I just thought it was really fun having a woman's POV from that rather than I love all of these fantasy books with men's POVs, and there's plenty of fantasy books with women POVs, don't get me wrong, but I don't know, the way that this one was a little bit lighthearted, but there were some higher stakes going on and some tough decisions that had to be made. But at the same time, it almost felt like it could be like a Disney adaptation of a movie if it was animated or something. So I don't know. It was super cute, super fun, and I loved that Tress was super cutesy. She loved all her little teacups and the one with the little butterfly on it, and she had her long flowing hair, and whenever she put on like her pants rather than her dress and like things like that, like those little details. I don't know. I just liked that she was the leading character, and her cutesy little personality that was also really tough and inquisitive. So. Big point in the book, I almost said movie, big point in the book was the reveal at the end, which Matt said he 100% saw coming, and I didn't. Big reveal for me was that Charlie was the rat. You saw that coming the whole time. You were suspicious of it.
So there's a rat that Tress meets while she's on the sea that comes aboard the ship, who goes by Huck. And I didn't notice it. I didn't discover it immediately, but as they were nearing their final destination, being, what was it, the Midnight Sea, and getting closer to the sorceress, I thought, like, you know what? I think this rat might be Charlie.
I had no idea.
I think the sorceress might have cursed Charlie the way she cursed Hoyd, and now he's with Tress. I don't know. I had a suspicion. I wasn't sure of it, but I had a suspicion.
I was just like Tress. I was gullible and believed everything that Huck said and exactly who he was, and then he wasn't. And I was like, oh, what? And I heard that some people, I hear that a lot of people thought that, just like Matt too. Not everybody's as gullible as me, I suppose. But then whenever like we see Charlie at the end, but it's like the fake Charlie. And even then whenever it was revealed that that wasn't him, and Tress was like, oh, you're being a little different. This isn't really you. And I was like, oh, wait, what? And so, I don't know. I was just completely invested, I guess, and I was taking everything for face value. And I shouldn't have ever done that, in a fantasy book, but.
Yeah, so I think I have a thing with twist reveals that if I can guess it, it kind of takes away from the reveal itself. That's the reason I don't read mystery books anymore, because I read one and guessed I guessed the plot twist like halfway through the book, and then I was right, and I kind of like took away from the experience. So that was one thing that I think took away from Tress for me. Plus, when they show up to the sorceress's lair, they discover that the way to defeat her was to get Hoyd into the lair with them. And so all the people from the ship who were told to stay there end up taking him to the lair, and once he's there, it's pretty much done. Like, there's not a big fight scene, and there's not this big resolution of this entire adventure, this all the time we spent with these characters on the sea. I was hoping for a big, like, 20-page long chapter of a fight scene and dialogue and conflict and, oh my gosh, are they going to survive? Oh my gosh, are they going to win? They might lose. Oh good, they won. Instead, it was, hey, you lose, we win, we're leaving.
But now that I'm thinking about it for the first time, like, it was kind of, because of the weird, odd, like, crew that was on the ship and the cast of characters, the end battle was kind of, like, quippy, kind of, like, I want to say, like, from, like, a book stance, like, slapsticky, like, they just, and so it was, that's why it wasn't, like, a big culmination of, like, this big intense battle. It was kind of a silly, like, if you had, like, a fight scene and it was fast forwarded and, like, these silly things are, like, kind of happening, but they're making the advance that they need to do to win the fight. It's kind of like that.
It was definitely on theme. It was definitely on theme for the book.
Yeah.
It was fun. It was quirky. But for me personally, I would have preferred
more of a struggle for them to accomplish.
Yeah. But yeah, Hoyd just shows up and the sorceress just leaves.
Yeah.
And happily ever after from then on. From that point, which was like all the rising action going up to the conflict or the climax or whatever, and then falling action. From the climax to the falling action was kind of like meh.
It wasn't super intense.
Because of that is why I rated it 4 and not 5 stars. Still, overall, a very enjoyable reading experience. And I can't wait to read it again, knowing what happens and getting just to spend more time with those characters on the ship, on the sea.
I was telling Matt the other day, one of my favorite illustrations from the book was at the very end when Hoyd was revealed to be who he was like in the Cosmere, and he's like in this like vacation like outfit, like I don't know, and it's just like super like funny in his like kind of like Hawaiian style shirt. And I know he had described like throughout the book like his different like how many shades of orange can I wear all at once or whatever, and his kind of like weird quirkiness or whatever. But then just like seeing the picture of him and his like white hair, like his like Hawaii vacation shirt, I don't know, I loved it.
Yeah, I think that was a perfect like cherry on top.
Yeah, of the narration
like
reveal.
last page
Yeah.
type. Yeah.
What I said at the beginning, like super lighthearted, enjoyable. I mean, like Matt said, I definitely want to reread this book again. I probably won't this year because I'm trying to also read Stormlight Archive, and Matt's already read that, so that's taking up a lot of my time. But definitely want to reread, and it's made me realize that maybe I like nautical books. I don't know that I'll like a nautical book more than Tress, unless it's Peter Pan or something.
Yeah.
Definitely recommend. I want everybody to read it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I can't wait for the next secret project, which Matt and I have, instead of Secret Project 2, we call it Nerf Gun Wizard Book, because there's like the just like little sketch.
Teaser, the teaser cover looks like a wizard holding a Nerf gun.
So it's so funny. So we call it Nerf Gun Wizard Book, and so we're really excited about whatever that's going to be. A week from today, actually, we're going to jump into that one.
A week from the day we're recording.
A week from the day that we're recording, that's correct. Saturday, April 1st. Secret Project number 2, Brandon Sanderson. Any thoughts that you want to add on Tress of the Emerald Sea?
No, I mean, I've said it again and again, and I'll keep saying it. This was a really fun book.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. I'm pretty sure that it's hitting like physical bookstores here pretty soon.
Yeah.
So you can be on the lookout for that. Or it's already available on Kindle and like ebook stores and stuff like that. I know that for sure. So if you haven't read it, we really think that you should read it. I think you're going to enjoy it. I think this is a great intro to Brandon Sanderson.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's a lot more easier to swallow, I think, than Mistborn.
Because it's a standalone for one. This is my second Brandon Sanderson book to read. My first was I Can Do This. The first Mistborn book. The Well of Ascension?
Nope.
No, it's the second one. Age of Myth is the third one, and the first one is called...
That's not the third one.
Is it the first one?
No, the third one's called Hero of Ages.
What's the first one called?
The Final Empire.
My first Brandon Sanderson book was called The Final Empire, which is the first Mistborn book, and I can only call it Mistborn in my brain, and I think that's because some of the book covers, that's all I say on it, and so I can't...
that's kind of what they're calling it now.
And so, anyways, Tress of the Emerald Sea was my second Brandon Sanderson book, and it is a standalone, and it's because it is so lighthearted, and his writing is still just as amazing. It is a great intro into the Cosmere, as Matt said, and I used 100 times of the words that he did to say that, but we both said it now. So
that's going to do it for our review of Tress of the Emerald Sea. We're looking forward to, reading the next Secret Project book. We'll be reviewing that once we're done. Yeah. We're going to read a lot more books this year, and we're going to review a lot more books this year and really kick off this YouTube thing. Mm-hmm. That's our goal anyways. We'll see where it takes us. And thanks so much for watching. If you're not already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and you can ring the bell so you'll be the first to know when we upload a video, because I struggle with committing to an upload schedule.
But we're going to do it.
Subscribe if you haven't. Drop a like if you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!
Bye!